Okay, so when I integrate secant squared, what do we get? Tangent, right? Look at your answers. Help them help you out, right? So we know that it's going to be tangent of x. When I integrate -2, what do I get? -2x plus c. So it should have been the second one. All right. Okay, so this one says, let the region between this function, the x-axis, and these lines be, and then use the trapezoidal rule to compute the area where there are 4 equal subdivisions. Okay, so when I'm integrating, really what's going on, well, it wants me to use trapezoid, right? The idea is you've got some kind of a cubic function, right? The x-axis and the lines 0 to 4, and you have to find that area, okay? So I'm going to use the trapezoidal rule to do that. So probably the best thing to do is to go x, f of x, and just go ahead and find our values. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to take this, and I need you to plug it into the calculator. Put it into your graph. So put it into F1. All right, we got it in? Okay, so then go ahead and go back to your calculator screen and then put in F1 of 0, F1 of 1, F1 of 2, F1 of 3, F1 of 4. All right, what are we getting for 0? Okay, for 1? 21. Okay, keep calculating while I fix this. All right, 21, what's 2? And 3, 1, 15, and then 4, 204. All right, so then it said we wanted 4 trapezoids, so I'm going to set up for 4 trapezoids. I know I divide them all by 2. Okay, I know that I have to leave room for both bases of the trapezoid, which are really what we consider heights in our problem. What is the distance in between each one of them? Happens to be 1 this time. So 1, 1, 1, 1. All right, what's my first height? 4. And for a trapezoid, I write the first height once, and then I start repeating, right? So the second height is 21, and I repeat it. And then the next height is 56, and I repeat it, because it's part of both trapezoids. And then the next height is 115, and I repeat it, and then the last height is 204. The best thing to do from here would be to pull the 1/2 out and do 4 plus 21 plus 21 plus 56 plus 56 plus 115 plus 115 plus 204. Make sure you divide by 2. So go ahead, hit the buttons, and tell me what you get. Is it 296? Okay. Oh, was it on yesterday's? Yeah. They should have been, right? So I did choose the multiple. I was trying to get you to do your homework in class. So I was trying to be tricky. All right. Let's look at this one. So if we go from 1 to 3, that equals k. If we go from 1 to 7, that equals -4. They want us to find from 3 to 7. Okay, so this thing here I'm going to split up a little bit. All right. I'm going to split it into 2 things. I'm going to actually, first of all, is it in the right order? No. So to change the order, we need to make it negative out front. So I'm going to go -3 to 7 of x, and then I'm going to do dx. I still have to do negative in front of the other one, from 3 to 7 of f of x dx. And the reason I split it is I know how to integrate the x. The f of x is going to come from this other information that they gave us. Okay? So let's go ahead and integrate the x. What do we get when we integrate x? X squared over 2 from 3 to 7. Okay, let's finish that part, and then we'll get to the other part. All right, so we're going to go ahead and square the 7. What's 7 squared? 40, and the negative is on the outside of that squared. Okay, then minus a negative. When I square the 3, what do I get? 9 over 2. So let's see, what's 49, or negative 49 and positive 9? Negative 40 over 2, which is really negative 20. All right, now let's look at this next piece of it, okay? All right, so what this is saying is that I know when I integrate from 1 to 7, I get negative 4. And when I go from 1 to 3, I get k. Okay, so let's think about that. All I really want to get, though, is from 3 to 7. So think about that on a number line. If I'm going from 1 to 7, and I know that from 1 to 7, the whole thing is negative 4. And I know from 1 to 3, it's k, okay? What do I have to do with those two numbers? I got to subtract them. So I have to do negative 4 minus k. Okay, to get rid of this chunk and only get this piece of it. Okay? All right, what are we going to do with this negative sign here? Distribute it. So I really have positive 4 plus k, right? Something happened. No, that's okay. So it ends up being positive 4 plus k, so we get negative 16 plus k. Is that one of our choices? It is. Don't think we got that same answer the other night when we did it. I can't remember what we did. All right, are we good with 3? Okay, let's keep going. All right, number 4. It says that they gave us some kind of a table. We've got a right Riemann sum is computed using 4 subintervals. This sum estimates the total number. What is the estimate? So they basically want us to do a right Riemann sum, right? So right starts from this end. Okay, I'm going to set up, how many subintervals do we have? 4. Okay, so I'm going to set up 4 rectangles. And you got to be careful because the distances in between are probably not consistent. Okay? So I'm going to start from this end. What is the distance in between? 1 point what? 5? 6. Okay, 1.6. And then the height I'm going to use is 1.5. Okay, the distance in between these two is 1.5. And the height I'm going to use is 2.2. Distance in between is 1.1, and the height I'm going to use is 3.1. Distance in between is 1.2. Height we're going to use is 4.3. All right, when you did the calculation, what'd you end up with? 14.27. All right, we good with 4? Okay, I'm going to keep going because I want to make sure we get through enough of it. All right, this one says that we've got to do a left-hand Riemann sum. The subintervals length 5 minutes. So are the subintervals consistent this time? Yeah. How many are we going to have this time? Looks like 5. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I know the distance in between is 5 each time. Again, I could factor that 5 out, right? And add up the heights and multiply by 5. Okay? All right, so I'm coming at it from the left. What's my first height? 24. What's my next height? 76. And my next height? 106. And my next height? And my last height? 135. So again, if it was me, I would pull that 5 out. I would add the numbers together and then multiply it by 5. What'd you get? That 93 was there. Oh, I bet there's something else in there. The temperature in a turkey, the oven continuous. Approximate. Okay, do you see these words here? This is what happened. All right, we got a good wrong answer. There's something new we learned this unit, right? The average value. So you know you've got that average value. If it doesn't say average rate of change, average in pretty much any other word means to do the 1 over b minus a out front. So we missed that piece. So 1 over your b minus a is this thing here, isn't it? 25 minus 0. So what do I really need to do to this thing? Multiply or divide by 25. So divide that by 25. Does that get us the 93?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You got to watch for those keywords. That's a really, really, really good question for me to put on the test. Okay. That comes up guaranteed on the AP exam. Okay. Usually in the free response. Okay. It's a picture just like, or a chart just like that. They say average something. Okay. And you have to know to do it. All right. Whoops, too fast, sorry. Okay, looking at, was 6 the next one? Okay, so 6. Pretty basic integral. When I integrate 2x, what do we get? 2x to the third, so not third?
I mean second.
Second over 2 plus what? 7x plus c. So these go away. I've got x squared plus 7x plus c. We good with 6? Okay. Number 7, probably before I integrate it, I want to make the x, or I want to bring this upstairs. How do we do that? Make the exponent -3. All right, we're going to integrate. Remember, we add 1, so add 1 to that exponent. So x to the -2 divided by -2 from 2 to 3. I'm going to bring that variable downstairs, make the exponent positive again. From 2 to 3. All right, so -1, what is 3 squared? 9 times 2 is 18. And then I'm going to subtract negative. What's 2 squared? Times 2, 8. So it looks like they both go into 36, right? So let's see. If I made some common denominators, this would be -236. How many 36 is this one? Oh, does that right? That one doesn't go into 36. 72. Does it go? Do they both go into 72? Yeah. All right. So 72 for the 18. Is it 4? Is that right? Yeah. Okay. How many times does 8 go into 72? 9. So -4 and +9 is 5 over 72. It's looking like this one. That says a 72. Oh, that's a highlighter. Alright, we good with 7? Alright. When I integrate cosine, what do we get? Sine. So we've got sine, oh, and this one's a little bit weird, of t, right? We're supposed to go from pi over 2 to x. All right, we're going to go ahead and plug in what we've got, right? So we plug in sine of x minus sine of pi over 2. Pi over 2 is up here, which it is out 0 and up 1. What's the sine of pi over 2? So sine x minus 1. You need to know that coordinate of the unit circle. We're in the second semester of calculus. You should at least be able to write these four, right? And figure it out. Okay. All right. Number 9. We got to figure out the value of k, or the possible value of k. So probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to integrate it. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 and divide by what? 6. And then we're supposed to be going from -2 to k, and it's equal to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug in my values. Don't let it freak you out when you see the k. It's going to happen, okay? Follow the rules you know, okay? So I'm going to put in the k, so k to the 6th over 6, and then I'm going to put in the -2, and it's supposed to be equal to 0.
It's always subtracting?
It's always subtracting. That's what the fundamental theorem says. Is the top one minus the bottom one. But you got to we have a sign issue going on, right? So you got to watch that sign. All right, what's -2 to the 6th? What is it? Is it 64?
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to be minus because of that sign right there, right? Okay, I'm going to go and move it over to the other side. So k to the 6th over 6 equals 64 over 6. Yes?
Is it negative 64 or positive?
Inside the parentheses, the negative 2 to the 6th power is even, so the sign would go away on the 64, but the minus sign stays. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so now let's look at what we have there. If I'm going to take the 6th root, okay, we just did it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Look at your answers. It's got to be 2.
Yeah.
Does it have anything to do with the 0?
No.
No, so anything with 0 is out, right?
Yeah.
But could I put a negative 2 in there and still get a true answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I put a negative 2 into this, isn't the negative going to go away?
Yeah.
So I would say that the answer is this. I'm not sure if that came out right or not, but that's what I would say the answer is.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that right? Okay, awesome. If it was an odd number up there, then it's a different story. Okay? Alright, let's check this one with pretty basic integral, right? Pretty basic definite integral. So we've got 3x to the what? Third over 3 minus 4x squared over 2 plus c. I'm sorry, why am I doing plus c? No plus c, right? It's definite. Alright, we've got to plug in from 1 to 3. If I'm plugging in, I'm simplifying, right? Alright, so we've got x cubed minus 2x squared from 1 to 3. Alright, let's plug the numbers in. So what is 3 cubed? 27. Minus, what's 3 squared? 9 times 2. And then minus and use the parentheses. So you make sure you get your signs right. What's 1 cubed? 1. 1 squared? 1 times negative 2 is? Negative 2. What's 27 minus 18? 9, right? And then 1 minus 2 is? Double negative is going to go positive, so we would just get 10. Alright, we good? Okay. I think we've actually done this one already, or one similar, with just different numbers. So I'm going to do what with the exponent? Add 1, so you get x negative 2 divided by negative 2. I'm going from 1 to 2. I got to bring the exponent downstairs with the x. Now I'm going to plug in. So I've got negative 1. What's 2 squared? 4 times 2 is 8. Minus negative 1. Let's see. 1 squared is? Times 2 is? 2. So it looks like I need to bring it into 8s. So 4 eighths. So what's my answer? 3 eighths. Alright, we good with 11? Okay. 12. We would need to, so average value means what do we need to put out front? 1 over b minus a, but in this case, what's that going to be? It's going to be 1/2, isn't it? Can't you do 2 minus 0 in your head? Yeah, I'm okay with that. Alright? If it's anything other than 0, maybe show your work. But if it's 0, do it in your head. Instead of writing the square root of x, can't I write x to the 1/2 power? Alright, so we're going to add 1. Okay, so let's see. I've got x to the what power? 3 halves divided by 3 halves or multiplied by 2 over 3. The reciprocal from 0 to 2. We're going to do some simplifying first. 2's cancel, right? So I have 1/3 x to the 3 halves from 0 to 2. Oh, they were kind of nasty to us on this one, weren't they? Alright, so we've got 1/3. I've got 2 to the 3 halves, basically minus 0, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's think about what this really is, because they were not nice to us in this answer at all. Okay? It's something that we don't typically do. Okay, we typically just leave it like that. So we're really going to say, I'm going to put that back as a radical. So square root of 2 cubed, which, do you guys remember way back in the day when you learned square roots? Depending upon your teacher. Isn't that really 3 2's? How many 2's do we need to get it out of there? 2 of them, and when I take it out, how many do I write down? 1. So 2/3 square root of 2. They're trying to get you with the algebra. Okay, okay, think about it this way. What's 2 cubed? 8. I would have done it this way. Biggest square number that goes into 8 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. Same thing, right? 2 different ways to do the same thing. You could do a factor tree if you like factor trees. Yes?
What'd you do right there when you multiplied by the reciprocal? Can you explain this?
You want me to do the multiply by the reciprocal again?
Yeah.
So remember, I divide by the new exponent, which is 3/2, or I multiply by the reciprocal,
Oh, okay.
and then my 2's were able to cancel.
Oh.
Typically, on a really well test question that's written really well, something's going to cancel. It's planned. Okay? All right, we good with 12? Everybody got it? Are we okay, Angelique? We got it? Okay. All right. So it says that capital F and F are continuous. The function such that the derivative equals f of x. They want us to integrate. Then the integral of is, okay, so let's see what they're doing with this. So they're saying basically I can replace that, right? So we've got a to b, and I'm going to replace f prime with the f of x. Alright, when I integrate f prime, what do you think I get? Just f of x from a to b. So what's going to go first, the a or the b? The b. Believe it or not, that's a question that usually appears on the calculator section. On the calculator section, I think there's 13 or 14 questions, and usually only about half of them you actually need the calculator for. They like to put the theory questions, right? 'Cause that's just a definition that they had you illustrate. All right, 14. Again, we've got a k. We're not going to freak out about it. Follow your rules. Okay? So it says we're going to integrate using a definite integral. So we get x to the what? 1/8 over 8 plus kx. Good. From -2 to 2. And it's all equal to 16 because that's going to allow us to solve for the k. Everybody okay with the kx? When you see k, it's constant. Just like a c is constant, k is also typically a constant. So it's it acts like a number. All right, let's put in our 2's. So what's 2 to the 8th? What are we getting? 256 over 8 plus 2k. 2k. All right. And then -2 to the 8th is still 256 over 8. And this time it's going to be minus 2k. Oh, no denominator. I don't know what I was doing. All right. What are we going to do with that negative sign here? Distribute it. What's going to happen with the 256 and the 256? They're going to cancel. Okay, so now I've got 2k plus 2k is what? 4k. So what's k? K is 4. All right, we good with 14? All right, 15. What is the average or the mean value over there? So average value means that we do what out front? 1 over b minus a. So 1 over 2 minus -1. So that double negative is going to go positive, and I'm going to go from -1 to 2, and I'm going to integrate 3t cubed minus t squared dt. Remember, whatever variable you're using, that's what should go here. So in front, I have a 1/3 hanging out. All right, when we go to integrate, we get 3t to the 4th over 4 minus t cubed over 3 from -1 to 2. It's going to be ugly. We're going to have to do fractions. All right, 1/3. What is 2 to the 4th? 16 times 3. 48, okay. Minus, what's 2 cubed? 8 over 3. Minus, use of parentheses. What's -1 to the 4th? 1, right? Times 3 is just going to be 3. What's -1 cubed? -1, and the double negative is going to go what? Positive. All right. I could do what with that negative sign? Do you see why I didn't go ahead and reduce my 4 over 48? Okay. So what's 4/48 minus 3/4? Sorry, 48/4 minus 3/4. I said it wrong. 45/4. -8/3 and -1/3. -9/3. Alright, let's pretend we don't have our calculators. Let's do some... Oh, I'm turning my 1/3 into a 1/2. That's not good. Alright, so we'd have to put 12, right? Alright, so let's see, what's 45 times 3? Everybody okay with the 135? Alright, what about 9 times 4? Okay, so it's 135 minus 36. 90 what? 99? Everybody okay with the 99? 3 goes into 99 how many times? 33. 3 goes into 33, 11, and 12. 4, did we get an answer? So 3 goes into 99 33 times. 3 goes into 33, 11, and 3 goes into 12, 4. Equivalent fractions. All right, we go to 15. Oh, we're still got plenty of time. Good. All right, pretty simple, straightforward integral, right? So we get x to the what? 4th over 4 minus 3x squared over 2 plus c. That's interesting. There must be a typo in that one, huh? Let's see, let's double check. Let's see. X to the 4th over 4, -3. I agree with our answer. Yeah, something's wrong in that one. Was the answer supposed to be A? I don't know what it was supposed to be. Check, click it and see what it does. Oh, I know what they did. Okay. Let's get rid of these. Look at this. Couldn't I get rid of the denominator maybe? Is it this answer?
No.
It's which one?
The last one.
It says it's the last one? Well, I'm stumped on that, so I don't know. I could maybe get it to be this one by doing a multiplying somehow, but no, forget. There's a typo. There's got to be a typo on 16. Okay? Sorry. All right, let's look at these. So I'd like to put one of these. These are important that you know for the AP test. Okay, that's why I kind of threw them at the end. I know they're not multiple choice here. It should be a numeric answer. It should check it though for you. Okay, and for pi, we're just typing in pi. Okay. All right. So it says we're supposed to use. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. I've got a triangle, a semicircle, and a triangle. Right. So if I'm going to go from 0 to 2, what shape is this? Quarter of a circle. And remember, when we're underneath the axis, the x-axis, it's negative, right? So I'm going to do pi r squared, what's your radius length?
Two.
2 divided by 4 because it's a quarter circle, and throw a negative in front. So what is 2 squared? Aren't those going to cancel? So my answer to that one is negative pi. Or if you typed it in, negative pi.
So you just need the formula of a circle.
You need to know formula of a circle, right? And divided it by 4. Because this piece here is a quarter of a circle. Okay? Alright, let's look at the next piece of it. So the next piece of it says we've got to go from 2 to 6. So what shape do I have there? Triangle. So 1/2 base times height, right? What's the length of the base? 4. What's the height of the triangle? 2. Don't those cancel? The 1, 2, 3, 4 for the base, 1, 2 for the height. 1/2 base times height, 2's cancel. Everybody good? Okay, I'm going to go to the next one. Alright, this one says I'm going from negative 4 all the way to 2. So I need to do the area of the triangle and the area of the semicircle. And they're both what? Negative. Good. Okay, so I know I got a negative 1/2. What's the base length? 2. What's the height? 1. So times 1. So the area of the triangle is actually what? Negative 1. So this area down here is negative 1. Okay? Alright, then we've got to do the area of the circle. So we would be adding it to the area of the circle, but it's really a negative circle, right? So pi, what's your radius length? 2. We're squaring it and dividing by what this time? How much of the circle do we have? Half. So divide by 2. So we got negative pi times 4 over 2. 2 goes into 4 how many times? 2. So what I really have is negative 1 minus 2 pi. I guess they could do negative 2 pi minus 1 as well. So both of those are good answers. I probably only typed one of them in. Is that what I got? Or did I have a typo? Maybe I had a typo. I don't think I had a plus sign in there. Is what? Negative 1? I don't know what I did. It's not right. It should be this. Okay, so that answer is apparently wrong. Alright, let's look at the next piece of this. We've got to go from negative 4 all the way to 6. Didn't we already calculate the area of that triangle? What was it? It was 4, wasn't it? Yeah, so it's 4. Okay, so I know that this, and then I already know that this whole thing is this negative 2 pi minus 1, right? So this is negative 2 pi minus 1 plus 4. So it'd be negative 2 pi plus 3. Did I type that in there the right way? Let's see. Oh yeah, I don't know what I was doing on C. Negative 4 to 2. I only went... Oh, I know what I did on C.
Now the correct answer is... Oh, wow.
3 minus 2.
3 minus 2 pi. Same thing, right? Okay. You guys, here's what I did. I figured out what I did on this one because I'm looking at where I wrote my work. I went from negative 4 to negative 2. So it was my fault that the answer's wrong. Okay? This is the right answer. We're good. Okay? I'll try to go back in and fix it. Okay, let's look at that last one there. So this is asking us for the absolute value of it. Okay? Basically that means, and they want me to go all the way to here, I need to do the absolute value of these two areas. Okay, so I need to basically make them positive. So this area we already know is negative 1, so what are we going to use when we add it up here? 1. Okay, this one here, let's go back and look at what we did. We just need to take the negative off the front, don't we? So if we take the negative off the front, it's going to just be, it'll be positive 2 pi, wouldn't it? So plus 2 pi, and then this area we already said, how much was that one again? 4? Alright, so it'd be plus 4, so it's going to be 5 plus 2 pi. That's what I typed, I think. From here, because it said we had to go all the way from -4 to 6. So we,
Oh, we're on the correct answer.
like negative 2 times minus 1, and then we'll change the
okay, because it wants, see the absolute value bars? So now I need to make each one of those negative areas positive.
But Miss Ballard, are these actually going to be on the test?
They might be.
Oh. Yay.
Okay. Bethany, you okay? So all to make it to do absolute value. So absolute value of -1 is +1. Absolute value of the 2 pi is +2 pi. Okay. All right. Looking at this one here, we said we had a whole bunch of shapes. Let's figure out all the shapes, and then do the problem. We got just enough time to do that. So what shape is this right here? Trapezoid. So let's calculate all of our areas and write them in there. Okay, that's I think the easiest way to do it. So the formula for trapezoid is 1/2. What's the length of this base? 3. What's the length of this base? 2. So 3 plus 2. And then the height is how much? 2. So those are going to cancel. So what's my area of that trapezoid? 5. So I'm putting that in there. I see that trapezoid here and here. Do we see all the trapezoids? Okay. Now I'm going to find some other little areas. Let's see. See this little triangle in here? Let's do that little triangle. So little triangles are 1/2. The base. What's the base length? 1. What's the height? 2. So that's going to just be area what? 1. I'm going to erase that so I can write my 1 in there. So this is a 1. I have a 1 on this triangle as well. Okay. Go to another color. We'll do green. All right, looking at this little triangle right here. Okay. 1/2. What's the length of the base? 2. What's the height of the triangle? 1. Technically -1, right? Because it's going down. So what's the area of that triangle? -1 for both of these triangles. Okay. Wait till you see how fast it goes once we get all of them in there. You just got to add. You got to figure out which numbers you're adding. All right. So now we got this last giant triangle. So 1/2. What's the length of the base?
2.
2. What's the height of the triangle?
3.
3. Those cancel. So I'm just left with 3 and 3.
Yeah.
All right. Now I just have to figure out where I'm going, right? So I've got to go from -5, which is right here, to -2. -5. Oh, that's not -5. Sorry, I didn't count very well, did I? I went -3. All right, -5 to -2. What do I have to add together? 5 and 1, which is 6. All right, the next one's going from -2, so right here, to +2. What are we adding together? 3 and -1, which gets me 2. Oh, look, the areas are there. Wasn't that nice? All right. I planned ahead a little bit. All right, so from 2 to 5, what are we going to add together? 5 and 1, right? So 6. 5, so this 5 here, to 7, what are we going to get? Don't even need to do any calculation, right? We did it already. All right, looking at 26. So 7 to 11, what am I adding together? Yeah, 3 plus 5, which is 8. All right, 9 or 2. So from here to 9. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not 9. That's 8. Apparently I can't do, I'm having issues this morning. All right, to there. So what numbers am I adding together for that?
5, 1, 3,
-1 and 3, so that is also 8. All right, this one's tricky. Is that in the right order? No, I have to flip it first. Okay, so I know I'm going to have a negative hanging out from 0 to 6. Uh-oh, I don't think I have the right answer. Oh, maybe I do. So I'm going to add up these 3 for sure, right? So that would be 3 plus 5 plus 1. And then what's the area of this piece of the triangle?
Negative 0.5.
Negative 1/2. Okay. So it's 5 plus 3 plus 1. 9. In halves isn't 9 18? So what's 18 halves minus 1/2? 17 halves, and it's negative because of that, because we had to do the switch on it. That's probably the hardest one we've seen out of those, huh? Alright, negative 4. Negative 4 to 10. Okay, so here's how I figured this one out. Alright. Didn't I basically, isn't this area here? And isn't this section here? So couldn't I just shift it a little bit? Couldn't I, let me use a different color. Couldn't I just really go from here to here, and it's going to be the same area? Sure. Okay, so was that a 1 that I crossed out? Is that right? 1 minus 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 1 minus 1 plus 3 plus 5. Which I got 16. I practiced those two problems, the two area graphs tonight. Make sure you can get those answers, okay? In addition, make sure you're doing the hints part. And then when's the test? Friday. Okay? And we want a really good score on this one, because is there a final exam this semester? No.